comes from the first section of the book, which is called Spousal Privilege. And these are the 10 times that I've been on Larry. This one is called If I Should Die Before You. Okay. Please don't stop reading, or in this case, don't stop listening. I promise that despite the title, what follows is not a downer. Rather, it's an observation, a practical consideration, and maybe even a little bit funny. What precipitated my seemingly somber reflection was an actual conversation I had with my husband, a semi-retired attorney who for the past 3 years has been vowing that this year would be his last. However, you did notice that the prefix is still attached to the verb. But before I relate the conversation, let me set the scene. One recent morning, I took a risk and stepped into his home office. Why a risk, you might ask? Because upon crossing the threshold, there is imminent danger of tripping over stacks of file folders piled on the floor, slipping on fallen pens, and experiencing vertigo as you observe the chaos surrounding his person as he sits on the small love seat, diligently engrossed. He is unaware that our little dog Sam has been busy removing crumpled papers from his overflowing wastebasket and turning them into confetti. I, of course, notice this immediately as I silently strategize about the best way to maneuver the vacuum cleaner so as not to disturb the piles. Forgetting why I put my life on the line in the first place, my focus is now on the wastebasket. And so the dialogue begins. Honey, he looks up. I can't help but notice that the wastebasket is brimming over and the dog is engaged in an arts and crafts project. Oh, right, he says. If you would get me a garbage bag, I'll empty it right now. Get him a garbage bag? My feminist dander is rising. I know he's busy, but he will eventually take a break and then he can get his own frapping garbage bag. Fortunately, however, before I go on a rant about liberation, it occurs to me that, in fact, he may have no clue as to where to locate said item. And so instead, I kindly say, without a hint of sarcasm, sweetheart, if I should die before you, let me show you where the garbage bag is. I like to think we have a modern marriage, one in which responsibilities are shared, and in many ways we do. For example, in matters financial, where my ability with numbers is limited to simple addition with a calculator, I'm most appreciative that my darling is able to guide us through the big decisions. But in matters of household, despite my emancipation, I'm afraid we revert to more traditional roles. And when the time arrives that I must relinquish my role as domestic goddess, I do want him to be prepared. So to ensure a somewhat easier transition, for I know that he will miss me terribly, I'm compiling a list of need-to-know items. As I am still very much here, I refer to it as my version of a living will. So here is my list. If I should die before you, let me show you how to load the dishwasher, how to sew a button on your shirt, how to put the drawstring back in your sweatpants after you pull too hard and yank it out, where we keep the light bulbs, how to change a light bulb, where we keep the dog food, where we put the recyclables, how to replace the ink in your printer, where to look when you can't find your glasses, where to look when you can't find the TV remote, where to find a new tube of toothpaste or a fresh bar of soap, how to order stuff on Amazon, how to reboot the computer, how to clean the lint trap in the dryer, that there is a lint trap in the dryer, that there is a dryer and a washer, where we keep the toilet paper, how to replace the toilet paper. This list is by no means exhaustive. It is a work in progress to be added to as other gaps in knowledge become apparent. I know this is not a happy topic, but there is a great deal of comfort in knowing that after I'm gone, my darling will be able to replace that used cardboard cylinder with a brand new roll. Perhaps this essay will inspire other couples to compile a list of their own. I certainly hope so. In the meantime, while I'm still alive, let me not forget to show him where the garbage bags are.